post-editing, just for everyone to be aware. You're probably going to hear double rain, that's fine. I haven't got my my headphones in. But while I was recording this second part, I looked back at the footage and I noticed that apparently some of the screen was cut off, and I apologize for that. I don't want to go ahead and re-record this whole entire episode again because it took so long to get that ending to trigger. And only a bit of text was cut off. Nothing that features the characters got cut off or anything, so hopefully that's okay with everyone. And also the same warning supply from the first episode to this one. And yeah, let's just get on with it. I'm sorry. Hello my little stars, let's not dilly-dally, let's get in and see if we can find another ending. Let's start. Okay, so I'm going to read through it from start to finish like I did last time. Only we're going to be changing the options we took to see if we can get a different outcome. Fingers crossed, we don't get stuck in a loop and we actually get a different ending. Because the last ending confused me quite a bit. Anyway, Nelli's throat stung as she gulped the cold dawn air. Her arms were shaking. The muscles ached so much that she struggled to grasp the handles. The haggard squeaks from the wheels of her bike tore through the silence that permeated the dark forest. Like I said last time, what silence is she talking about? Does that sound silent? Hello? This is deafening for me. And I've turned it down twice and they're still loud. Also, for dark, it's not that dark personally to me, but I will take her word for it. She choked for breath around the small flashlight clenched between her teeth. The light was modest, only illuminating a small patch of the road directly in front of her bike. Oh dear. She needed to hurry. The sun was already starting to rise. It was okay. There were only 3 left. Don't look at me, I still don't know what on the air she's talking about only 3 left for. I have some ideas of what it could possibly be until she put the wretched thing in the freezer, and now I'm just I'm starting to think something sussy, even more sussy, is actually going on. Nelli drove her heel down, pedaling with renewed vigour. She raised herself from the seat, leaning over the handles of the bike as she frantically turned the pedals, going faster and faster and faster until, obviously we know what's going to happen. Please do not mimic anything this girl does. Snap. Again, I repeat, it says snap. Did that sound like snap to you? That did not sound like snap. Terror ripped through Nelli as she was flung over the handles of her bike. She's lucky she didn't choke on the flashlight, I'm just saying. Or broke her teeth. She instinctively covered her face with her arms before she hit the ground. Her shoulder smacked against the concrete with a jolt of pain tore through the right side of her body. For a moment she lay on the road, trying to steady her shaky breath as the throbbing pain subsided into a dull ache. As soon as her head stopped spinning, she forced herself up on her elbows. Okay, so Nelli is on the ground, on her back? Is it? Her head stopped spinning, she forced herself up on her elbows. She fell on her side, so she's laying on her right side. But then she gets up by using her elbows. Okay. She rotated her shoulder. It still hurt, but she could move it without any issues. Her knees and arms stung too. At first, she was going to check them for injuries, but then she stopped herself. So she must have rolled then for her to have also hurt both of her arms and knees. And this is why, priority for Nelli is completely different to what a normal person would do in this situation, but oh well. She got up on her knees and looked round, squinting in an attempt to pierce the murkiness of the early dawn light. Heart pounding, she patted the ground all around her. She found it, and she breathed a sigh of relief. The yellow bag had fallen to the side, and she pulled it close and examined it carefully. The zipper was shut tight, and everything was still inside. So, this bag of Nelli's, this bag that she refuses to let anybody touch, this bag. This yellow bag. She slung the bag back over her shoulder and retrieved the fallen flashlight before returning her attention to her bike. It collapsed on its side, wheels still spinning. The chain had come undone, draped over the ground like a dead snake. She picked up the chain. It was strangely slack. Yet because apparently this girl doesn't seem to realise that it's busted. Don't ask me how she does not realise it's broken. I mean, if it's not where it's supposed to be on the bike, then it's broke.
Nelli.
Then there's this one. Does he live nearby? Where was he? It's just very convenient. She falls and he's there. She looked up. Cold tingles round on her neck and through her spine, sending a chill running all the way to her fingers and toes. Raku was standing over her. Raku Kamoide. Her ex-boyfriend. The tall young man peered down at her with curious ice eyes from under the fringe of his badly dyed hair. So again, like I said in the first episode, I mentioned icy eyes. Weirdly enough, in the ending, we get to learn about there was a spider with icy eyes. So, Coincidence? I think not. There's something sussy going on around here. There's multiple sussy things going on around here, but I have to, give her the benefit of the doubt. Because I was left confused. She ran because something was going on with his face. Then she literally prepared a knife. And then in that ending as well, Nelli did mention, though, something that caused me to, point it out, which is a simple fact that it's not the first time she's used a knife. I'm hoping she just meant, like, preparing food or something and not actually used it against the person. But again, I don't know. What was he doing here? How could he be here? Right now, this exact moment, right when she would have done anything to avoid seeing him or any other living being on the planet. That's what I'm feeling like.
What are you doing here?
Well... Okay, so last time I said going for a bike ride because, she was. And then she stuttered. So it's obvious she's hiding something. So the mushroom told me to be nice to him. I was nice in the first round, so we're going to not be nice now. So I'm so sorry, Raku, but none of your business.
That's none of your business, is it?
I mean, I guess not, but,
Right.
Fine. He sheepishly rubbed the back of his neck.
I was out for a walk myself. Drank too many energy drinks to power through the night, so I'm trying to burn off some of the caffeine.
Well, at least he explained why he's there, even if you didn't. His voice trailed off.
Anyway, are you alright? Fell off your bike?
No. She didn't fall. She didn't fall off her bike. She flew. She flew into the stratosphere with how fast she was going. He extended a hand, and Nelli didn't take it. She stood up and slung that wretched bag over her shoulder again, ignoring the mud and twigs stuck to her raincoat. Okay, the mud and twigs. The thing is, she toppled onto concrete, so where did the mud and twigs come from? I've only now realised that. Where did those come from? Were they on the road? Wouldn't it said that she would have toppled on the concrete road and gotten mud and twigs on her? So where did the mud and twigs come from? That would mean she was out in the forest itself to get mud and twigs on her. No, Twinkle, give her the benefit of the doubt. You're probably looking too much into it. She's probably completely innocent, nothing's going on. Nelli, stop setting off my alarm bells. Raku smiled awkwardly and retracted the hand before kneeling by a bike. Please keep in mind that I'm recording this after getting the first ending. So this all in the same day.
Your chain.
Even hearing the second time makes me laugh.
It's broken.
What?
Yeah, you literally did say it was broken. Slack like a snake. Dead. Dead as a dodo. Dead. It's broken. Raku picked up the broken end of the chain and waved them around.
Don't think you'll be able to ride it for a while, unfortunately.
No, it's not unfortunately. I mean, I'm thankful she can't ride it because she nearly killed herself on it.
You're heading home, right? Me too. I'll walk with you.
Wait, if you're heading home, then why were you in the forest then? Because I thought, maybe he lives nearby. Maybe he does. Maybe he lives further down the road. But where was he? He literally came out of the forest, right? Is that where he came from? Because he clearly was on the road. Otherwise, Nelli would have seen him as she was pedaling. Then again, the light was only a little bit in front of her. But then there's the simple fact that he didn't know about the bus stop. And if he lived around here locally, he'd know about the bus stop. But he didn't know about the bus. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Nelli's voice caught in her throat. She tried to think of some excuse, anything she could blurt out to make him go away, but she couldn't think of anything. Raku's face softened with a melodical expression.
We don't have to talk.
Don't worry, I'm not going to this time.
I just don't want to leave you alone out here. Not after what happened to Sana.
Exactly. Everything has been a catalyst from Sana. It's literally a domino effect. Nelli bit her lip. Sana, her roommate and her best friend since middle school, had vanished 3 months ago, during which she was still technically dating this guy, and then a week later she's found dead, and then she and Raku break up. Coincidence? I think not. There's something sussy going on. A week later, her body was found at the bottom of a cliff in this very forest, mangled beyond recognition. A tragic hiking accident. But would it be mangled though? You know what? Never mind. I guess it depends how high it was. Alright, I'm fine. Last time I said alright, so I'm gonna say I'm fine this time.
I'm fine. I don't need you to escort me.
Besides, she clearly doesn't want anyone within 5 meters of her right now. She's clearly up to something suspicious. So, shoo. Yeah, I understand. Raku frowned.
I'm sorry, but I can't abandon you here knowing your bike's broken.
Well, yeah, fair play to him as well. There could be a murderer on the loose because, they claimed it was a tragic hiking accident, but what if it wasn't? What if there was a murderer? You don't know. There could still be a killer on the loose. Or worse, there's wild animals in the dark, dark forest. She might get run over by a car or something. Anything could happen. It's Nelli.
I don't care if you hate me. Just let me walk with you.
Fair enough, so long as you stay meters away from her yellow bag. Raku extended a hand again.
Want me to carry the bag for you?
What? How dare you suggest touching the precious cargo?
No.
Exactly. Nelli jerked away. Last time I said it was heavy, which then made me think, why could it be heavy in the first place? But this time we're not going to say anything. Nella's already said no. She doesn't need to say anything more than that, right? So we'll just say nothing. We'll be quiet. We'll just shush. Nobody say anything. We'll just silence. She held the bag close. He didn't respond. Instead, he placed both hands on the bike's handles and started to walk it down the road. He's still very freaking pale, though. To Nelli's relief, Raku stayed true to his word. Normally he would have been quite talkative, rambling to her about whatever nerdy hobby captivated him that week. Now, he didn't say a word. Well, yeah, because he said he wasn't going to. In fact, he was barely looking at her. He just continued walking, only casting an occasional glance at Nelli to make sure he was walking at her pace. When she was certain that he wasn't looking, Nelli peeked at her ex-boyfriend out of the corner of her eye. The circles in his eyes were as dark as ever, a permanently tattooed reminder of his horrific sleeping habits. They stood out darkly against the anemic pallor of his eyes. But something happened with his face, though, in the last route, though. In the first route I did. Something about his face. He was usually on the paler side, but he looked even more sickly than normal. Maybe he hadn't been getting enough sleep. Other students at their university use copious amounts of caffeine to fuel last-minute homework assignments or late-night cram sessions, but Nelli knew better. Raku had definitely stayed up all night reading with his guild in his latest MMORPG. Okay, blah blah blah. He conscripted her on a few occasions, giving her precise instruction on what buttons to press while he ran to the bathroom. These probably should have been bitter memories, but strange enough, Nelli didn't hate those evenings. She would lay on his bed. Okay, so maybe she's been to his house. Or his apartment or something? Okay, fair enough. Planting turnips and petting cows on her handheld console, and every once in a while he would turn to her and grumble about a lackadaisy teammate or celebrate a particular close call. She wondered if his race went well. He complained about terrible drops for the past 2 months. Did he finally get the item that he wanted? Something hit her face. Okay, this is when it starts to rain. She reaches up and wipes the raindrops trickling down her forehead. But as soon as she did that, another droplet hit her face, then another and another. Soon eternal rain was assaulting them. Nelli drew her hood up over her head, guarded from the onslaught by a raincoat. Raku wasn't so lucky.
Over there!
He grabbed her hand, ushering her to an old bus stop at the side of the road. When they entered, Raku wheeled the bike inside, leaning against the back wall.
Lucky. Glad this was here.
He wiped his face with his sleeve and ran a hand through his hair, flicking some of the water out.
You were even luckier, though.
Yeah, and there's this part here.
What do you mean?
He pointed at your coat. The coat. The coat is so sussy. Not only that, I only now noticed there was blood and twigs on it, which would then necessarily mean that she must have gone into the forest. But why would she go out in the forest? Why was she out there? How did she get mud and twigs on her thing? She was on a bike. On a concrete road. That would have meant that she went into the woods. And was doing something with mud.
Were you burying something, Nelli? Nelli, were you trying to hide body parts? Were you trying to hide evidence? What were you up to? Were you burying treasure?
No, calm down. Let it go. Unless we have concrete proof, nothing happened.
I'm surprised you thought to wear a raincoat. Rain wasn't anywhere on the weather forecast this morning.
I know! How très convenient.
It was kind of humid, so...
Yeah, but you were not out during the nighttime, right? So where was she? Raku seemed to accept that explanation. He leaned the bike to the side and looked around the inside the bus stop.
I wonder if the buses still come to this stop. There's no sign.
Is that important? He took his phone out of the pocket of his jeans and wiped down his sweatshirt before thumbing through the map apps.
No reception. Can't load anything.
He squinted at the stormy grey sky.
Maybe it'll stop soon. No choice but to wait.
Here we go, waiting in silence. He popped himself on the bench, crossing his legs and leaning his elbows on his knees. Nelli chewed her thumb, glaring at the raindrops falling around them. Should she leave? But if she did that, he might be suspicious and she couldn't abandon her bike here. Her bag wasn't waterproof either. Okay, so the question is, why doesn't she also want to abandon her bike there? She knows that Raku will bring it back home for her, but she doesn't even want to leave the bike with him. And the fact that the bag wasn't waterproof, it makes sense. So because if the bag gets wet, anything that is inside will get wet too. And will become visible depending if the bag is translucent or not. Like, it'll get soggy. And you normally don't want what's ever in your bag to get soggy. But the fact that she doesn't want her bike to be to be abandoned. She can't abandon her bike there. Because you're saying, yeah, well, if you leave a bike there, people are going to be like, oh, it's just an abandoned bike. Why does it matter if you leave your bike there with him? He knows where you live, so why can't you let him bring the bike back? Because you know he will. So, what's the problem? Why doesn't she... I get this, her ex-boyfriend, but still, he knows where she lives, and he does care about her. She doesn't want any excuse, for him to bump into her again. Also, the bike is literally broken, woman. You need to take it in for repairs anyway. Why does it... she couldn't abandon her bike there. Because if she leaves her bike there, that would prove then that she's been there. God, I still can't let go of the idea of Nelli actually doing something super bad. you imagine I've, like, assumed she's a killer or something this whole entire time, and then we get an ending confirming she's completely innocent and it had nothing to do with murder? She brushed off the bench and sat down too. I feel like really stupid if that's the case. Raku tried to hide a smile. He rubbed the back of his neck and looked all around the inside of the bus stop. His gaze strayed to every nook and cranny before landing on Nelli.
So, what have you been up to lately?
Nothing much. Working on my thesis.
Excuse you, if you were working on your thesis, why are you here? Shouldn't you be at home working on your thesis then? Why are you out here? At this time, you're supposed to be in bed. Or, preparing for the day. Or, working on your thesis. Why are you out here? Talk about, stay silent. You don't need to say anything. Raku dared to shoot a glance in Nelli's direction, but her stony face extinguished any hope that he might prolong the conversation. He looked away, biting his lower lip in resignation. I feel so bad that I'm shutting him down all the time. I'm sorry, Raku.
Hey.
He looked her up and down, brows frowning, scrutinizing the mud on her leggings and raincoat. Nelli shrunk under his attentive praise. Wait, there's mud on her leggings and raincoat. Did Nelli was Nelli on the ground? When Nelli was on the concrete, though, there wasn't any mud there. They would have mentioned if there was mud and grass and twigs. How would she get mud on her leggings and on her coat unless she was kneeling down in the mud? Because there couldn't have been any mud on the concrete yet because it hadn't even started raining. So why was Nelli wet to get mud on her? Because it would have been dirt otherwise if it was dry. But the fact it's mud means that it's wet. So Nelli was wet. Because she had mud on her leggings and raincoat. Was Nelli kneeling down in the dirt at some point? But when did she do that? She didn't do that when she was on the road. She was on concrete. No other time has she literally gone on the grass. But I'm only now noticing the mud, and now the mud is bothering me.
You're hurt.
Maybe it was dirt, and then the rain caused it to turn into mud now, maybe?
Huh?
She looked down. As she sat on the bench, the raincoat was pulled up, revealing her knees. Holes had been ripped in both leggings, exposing the skin underneath. One knee had a small red patch where it had been rubbed raw against the ground. Thing is, she fell. She wasn't on the ground long enough for it. It says rubbed raw against the ground. Why would it have been rubbed raw? The other had been completely skidded. That makes sense because she went flying over the bike and she literally skidded, right? But the other one was rubbed raw. Like she'd been constantly kneeling down over and over again to rub it raw. So how is it rubbed raw? How did she hurt both of her legs though? Because when she fell over the bike, it said she landed on her right side. So she should have only damaged her right side of her body. Don't overthink it. Don't overthink it. Don't overthink it. It's fine. Muddy purple. The thing is, it's muddy. The only part I can't explain is why would there be mud on her? Because she was on the bike. On the road. On the concrete. Where was the mud? Where was the dirt in all this? The other had been completely skinned. Blood ran down in dark crimson rivulets, staining her leggings a muddy purple. So the blood got on top of the muddy purple, I'm assuming. So maybe her leggings were already covered in mud, and then the blood went on top and then mingled with it. Because otherwise, it was a very muddy, dirty concrete road, even though they just stated it was concrete. Maybe dirt randomly flew onto the road? I don't know. Maybe she was out in the garden. Let's just move on. Nelli blinked. Why hadn't she felt anything? Was it the cold or the adrenaline? Well, I don't know. You've never mentioned if it's cold out. But I definitely know you're filled with adrenaline. Raku kneeled by her knees and rummaged around in his inner jacket. Pocket, fishing out a white handkerchief. These do not look like purple leggings. I'm going to say that right now. These aren't... Are these leggings? These aren't purple. Are these purple? They look blue. Are these blue? Are these purple? To me, they look blue. Are these purple? Am I colourblind? I can't be. You know what? Fine. Whatever. They're purple. He wiped the blood that was trickling down a leg before diverting his attention to the wound. He dabbed at it, carefully wiping the exposed flesh. Her ex-boyfriend and Rondre spent all of his skills points on his academic smarts, coding skills, and gaming prowess. As you do. He was sorely lacking most of the life necessary abilities. There was also a 50% chance that his toast would emerge completely charred because everybody knows toasters are the biggest battle of all. Sometimes they just want to destroy your breakfast. Or just destroy your toast, whatever. You know, sometimes iron bread, you can't get toasted. Not that way, as we know, it's a struggle for bread to do it. It's even more so for us. He kept his papers haphazardly organized piles on the floor. That is called organized chaos. All of us. Professional chaos. Organization to folks know. Somehow he even managed to sew an entire shirt sleeve shut while attempting to reattach a button. The button was sadly not attached. As we all know that sewing a shirt or showing any damage of clothes is difficult because you need to sew it inside out before putting it the right way around. Buttons are a lot more difficult than you think. I'm just saying, they are a lot more difficult than you think, especially if you see those sewing programs. I watch people doing competitions with sewing as well, and it's not as easy as I thought it was. But he was already meticulous. But he was always meticulous. No matter how small the task, Raku extended 120% effort. He was fussed for an hour while reducing the cream sauce to the perfect consistency. When he did her laundry, he would carefully smooth out every wrinkle. When she went out of town and asked him to take care of her cat, he shared a spreadsheet with her detailing every aspect of the pet's care. As she watched him painstakingly try to remove every speck of dirt from his scraped knee, those little memories floated through Nelli's head, refusing to leave no matter how hard she tried to push them away. Okay. Her mind was foggy and her heart tightened.
Does it hurt? Unfortunately, all I have is this. Shoot, I wish we were at home. This needs to be cleaned with ethanol. Does that hurt? Tell me if it hurts.
I'm fine.
Nelli bit her lip. Her knee didn't hurt, but the sight did. Raku kneeling next to her, worried and tending to her scrapes and bruises. They'd broken up. She should have been a stranger to him. Less than a stranger. Raku tied the handkerchief around the scrape, making sure that it wasn't too tight.
How's that? Okay?
It's fine.
Good grief. She swallowed. The lump in her throat bobbed in place, refusing to disappear.
Somehow the blood got on the outside of your coat, too. Not a lot, though.
Okay, so this was something that bothered me before. How could blood get on the outside of the coat? And then I suddenly realized something that just came in my head just now. The bag. The bag Nelli's got on her side. I'm saying this is just one of my ideas. If there is something in that is bleeding, it is possible that as the bag is leaning against Nelli's side, that the blood from that is soaking through onto Nelli. And it's soaking onto the top of like the bottom of the coat, because that's where the bag would be resting. If you look at the type of bag she has, it looks like it's one that's slung over the side of her, like a satchel or something. Right? It's like, it looks like it is from the way she's like holding this bag. So it would be resting on the bottom of her coat. Unless she did a really terrible job of cleaning up. Because otherwise, where else would there be blood down there unless when she was kneeling in the dirt, she was touching something that was bleeding? Otherwise, it's just paint. It's just conveniently placed red paint on the couch. Who knows? Because I still can't fully explain how the blood got on the outside of the coat. I can explain to you how the blood got on the inside of the coat because the coat rests on top of the knees. But how does the blood suddenly, travel up on top of the coat? If Nelli was upside down, that would make sense how it manages to travel up and over the coat. But since Nelli wasn't, how did the blood go up over the coat and then appear on the outside of it instead of being on the inside of the coat? That makes no sense. Unless she's bleeding somewhere else, but we have not been told that she is anywhere else. Are we even sure it's Nelli's blood? But no, we still do not have evidence to support that Nelli's done anything that is that extreme. But deep down something tells me, deep down in here, that something notorious has happened. But again, those are just theories. A game theory. I've always wanted to say that at least once. He scrubbed a few spots on the bottom of the raincoat. So a few spots. See, if there is something bleeding inside of him, so now Nelli is trying to get rid of body parts, it could have soaked through the bag because it was confirmed the bag is waterproof. But I don't know. Either way, she's done something and then blood splattered on her because it's like blood splatter. Because he said a few drops, a few spots. That is blood splatter. Depending on the velocity, depends like how much will splatter on you. But it definitely can't be from Nelli. But then that would technically make Nelli a murderer, or Nelli found a injured animal maybe and decided to help it, and that would explain the dirt on her. But then where's the animal? Maybe she was preparing chicken for dinner. Maybe she was preparing fish. Maybe she went fishing. Where's the fish? Maybe the fish is in the bag. Nelli does not seem like the hunting type to me. Okay. Well, however it got there, it did. But hey, now look, it's been removed from the coat. There's no evidence. He gave her coat one last wipe with a handkerchief before getting up and returning to his seat.
I'm sorry. I didn't notice you were hurt.
Don't worry, she didn't either. And I didn't know.
I said it's okay.
They stood in silence for another 10 minutes, but as they sat, Nelli could tell that Raku was growing increasingly tense. His legs bounced as he chewed on his lip. He's not the only one tense. I'm tense. Finally, he turned towards her.
Nelli, can we talk?
Oh, God. Here it was. He wanted to talk. Of course he did. They had dated for almost a year and a half. See, a year and a half. A year and a half. And they were already talking about moving in together. But then, during the time she was dating him, 3 months prior, like 3 months during it, Sana disappears. Sana then shows up a week later dead. After disappearing for 3 months. Where was Sana being kept? How did they not find Sana? It really depends, like, wouldn't her body have started to... No, I don't want to think about that. How did she disappear? People would have searched the forest anyway, so why hadn't they found her before then? Then again, people disappear sometimes for, like, years before they're found. but clearly she lives nearby. Wait, then that's a problem. Because he's willing to walk with Nelli back home, right? They're going on the road, right? Because they're going to go back home. That means Nelli's apartment is not far from here. That means Sana would have probably known this area. This is a local area to Sana and to everyone here. So how did she go undiscovered for 3 months? Only to turn up like a week later after being missing for 3 months. How did they not find her if it's a local forest? Maybe it's like a giant forest. It's fine. It's fine. I'm thinking too much. Ignore me. They discussed their future plans together. If Raku sent her a text out of the blue saying, "I'm breaking up with you," then she would have had questions too. She didn't want to talk or explain, which is why she'd avoided him for 2 weeks after sending the text. She had eluded him very successfully, strangely enough. Until this moment, that is.
Was it something I did? Did I do something wrong?
No.
You're suffocating. I don't know how you're suffocating, but you're suffocating. Only because you keep pushing questions here and she just wants to go running off into the sunset or something.
You're suffocating. You never give me any space or time for myself.
Wow, woman chill.
What?
Always asking to eat meals together, or picking me up after class and work, or waiting in the library when I'm in lab.
The shit? How is that a problem? I mean, that's kind of sweet of him to want to like spend time with you and pick you up after class and work and waiting in the library while you're in the lab. So that way he's nearby in case you need him? How is this a problem?
This is the first time I've heard this. I didn't know you felt that way.
She's lying through her teeth.
I just wanted to spend time with you, Nelli. We're both so busy with our theses and tutoring, and you've got your job at the library. I wanted to take every opportunity to see you.
Oh my god, he's so sweet. I don't like this route so far. Why do I have to be so mean to him?
I can change that. I'll wait until you want to spend time together.
You know, I can totally understand him.
We were talking about moving in together a month ago. I don't understand how your feelings changed so quickly.
Well, I mean, from what she said, she's been having an issue with this for a while, so I guess if she gave that excuse, it's a little bit more understandable, I guess. But she's totally lying through her teeth.
They just did.
No, they didn't. You're lying. She looked down and twisted her fingers together. She hesitated to say anything further. It felt like she was standing on the edge of a precipice, and a single word would send her tumbling into the abyss.
Is it because of what I did to Ji-hoon? Because I didn't apologize?
No. Be nasty. Be horrible. Who gives a toss about Ji-hoon? Ji-hoon's a piece of poo. He grunted his teeth.
You know why I did it. You heard all those things he was saying about Sana. Insisting that she was addicted to social media, saying she probably fell because she was trying to take a cute selfie with the sunrise.
Yet we are out here before the sunrise.
How could he say that? About his own girlfriend. He deserved more than one punch.
He deserved to be pushed off a cliff and then, a week later people find his mangled body. If he did kill her. I'm starting to think it's Ji-hoon's done something, because I still have not met Ji-hoon. Is Ji-hoon alive? Is Ji-hoon around? Can I talk to Ji-hoon? Can I, see this person? Can I also punch him? Nelli's mouth tightened. She wanted to protest to say that wasn't it. In reality, Raku's outburst had been gratifying. At the memorial, she sat in silence trying to ignore Ji-hoon's prattling so that she could focus on honoring Sana. The silence felt like grueling hours and she wanted to sew Ji-hoon's mouth shut. So this just proves that Nelli never liked the boyfriend of Sana. For one, he clearly didn't give a toss about Sana. So there must have been a reason why he was with her. And he probably wasn't out of love, I don't think. When Raku finally hit him, it felt as if Raku had taken all of her bubbling indignation and anger and shoved it in Ji-hoon's face. But he probably should have punched him several more times. Stay silent, I guess, because last time I told him it's not, so I'm going to stay quiet.
When I asked for your number the first time, I didn't really think you'd give it to me. After all, you're you, and I'm me. I didn't think I had a shot with you. But I had to ask. I would have cursed myself if I didn't even try. And you gave it to me. And then you said yes when I asked you out for lunch, and then you kept saying yes.
I just realized something. Reiku's voice sounds oddly familiar, like I've heard it before in another game I've played, but I can't for the life of me figure out where I've heard his voice.
I was so happy, but I also thought that maybe you just viewed me as your gaming friend. So I asked, is this a date? And then you laughed and said, of course it's a date. At that moment, I felt this pang in my chest.
Oh my god, he's so freaking sweet. I love this character. He's so freaking sweet.
I realized something. All of the messy, revolting things that had happened up until that point. The vile vulgarity of my own existence. It was because I had already spent all the luck I had in this lifetime to meet you.
So this thing here, they said that these were like bags in those eyes, right? There's something about his face. His face looks normal to me, so I'm still trying to figure out what on the earth she saw. Spent all the luck I had in this lifetime to meet you. If my theory about him being the spider, that would make sense.
I had never met anyone like you before. Even though life hasn't been kind to you, you always find room in your heart to be kind to others. People, plants, animals. Even something as little and creepy and disgusting as an insect.
Okay, do you remember how he said about the vulgarity of his existence? Do you think if he is the spider, that would explain it? Because if you notice the way he talks about insects, he finds them creepy and disgusting. That's if we go with the theory he's a spider.
I still remember when you found a spider in your apartment. Not a small one either. It was perched on the wall above your bed, barely holding on with 3 broken legs.
Poor spider, by the way. Ouch, that has gotta hurt.
You reached out and caught it in your hands. It would have been so easy to squish it right then and there. But you didn't. You opened the window and let it go. At that moment, I knew you were special. Really special.
The way he's talking, he's like reliving the memory as he's saying this. And the fact that he has these silvery eyes, the silvery like ice eyes and stuff, and the spider that we saw in the end of like the last one's ending also had the same eyes. I really do think he's technically talking. Either the spider has told him this, or he might be the spider. So there appears to be two plots going on, I think. But I'm not sure if they're all connected. Maybe he ate Ji-hoon. Nah, that would be too tart. Would we go that far? Maybe. That's if he is a spider. But he might not be. I might just be like far stretching out into the dark unknown.
I don't remember that at all. Did I do that?
I really think Nelli must have been a kid when this took place. But the problem here that I have there is if my theory that Nelli was probably a child when this happened, she couldn't have met Raku. She didn't meet him till they were at the library when she was much older. So that can't be correct, can it? How could he have known about this? Because if it was something that happened during the time, because they were together for a year, so how doesn't Nelli remember this incident? This couldn't have been an incident that happened during the time they were together and dating because she would have remembered it. So this would have been an event that happened prior in her childhood. At least that's what I get this feeling that's what it is, but I'm not sure. It's just a guess. I get this feeling that maybe that's it. Raku laughed.
You did. I guess you wouldn't remember. It was such a small thing. But I remembered.
Raku turned towards Nelli and slowly extended his arms around her. She slipped slightly, but she didn't push him away. Keep in mind that he said this was quite a small, a thing, but he remembers it. Because to him, what we can tell, he thinks spiders, insects and stuff, are creepy and disgusting. And he apparently doesn't like his own existence, so there's something about him existing as well that he finds revolting. And the only thing I can tell he doesn't like is bugs. So this is why I'm really leaning on the bug theory. But if he is a spider, God, he's good looking for a spider.
You know how you go through life, and you meet all these different people, but none of them really know you. You'll meet and you'll talk about what movie just came out, or what assignment is due next in class, or what food they're serving in the cafeteria. But you can never tell them about the real you. It's like you brush together for a second, and then the next, you're each going your separate ways. And when you stop taking classes together, or you move away, you never see those people again. And your life isn't any different in the end, because they didn't really know you. But you're different, Nelli. You know me. In some ways, you know me better than my closest friends, and even my family. You know things about me that I can never tell anyone else. And if I couldn't see you anymore, then my life would be different. There would be a big, gaping hole where you used to be. Losing you terrifies me. I'm afraid that no one else would be able to know me the way you do. That I won't be able to open up to anyone else the way I opened up to you. And I don't want anyone else to know me the way you do, because they wouldn't be you.
He's definitely obsessive.
I didn't know you felt that way about me.
You dated him for a year, woman. Over a year. And Nelli didn't resist. Raku pulled her tighter, whispering in her ear.
I don't want to break up.
Fair enough.
I love you, Nelli. I never want to love anyone but you. You don't feel the same? Not at all?
Nelli stayed silent, but she subconsciously leaned into Raku's hope. I feel like he already knows that Nelli doesn't mean any of the stuff she's saying. When her friends talked about their childhood, Nelli couldn't relate. When they reminisced, they brought up their beloved childhood cartoons, their favorite vacation, and their cherished family pets. Nelli didn't have memories of any of those things. So Nelli doesn't remember her past of her childhood because it was filled with dark things. Instead, all she remembers constant yelling, the embarrassment she couldn't afford lunch, the fear she huddled under the covers, never at home even in her house. The relief when her father went out one day and never returned. Someday she talked to Sana, and Sana would tell her, try her best. She would listen and nod and say, I understand completely. But that was a lie. There was simply some things that Nelli's best friend couldn't understand. All Sana could offer was some comforting words. That's rough. That's horrible. I can't believe that happened. As if Nelli's favourite TV show had been cancelled, or she cracked a phone screen or had gotten a D on her latest exam. It wasn't Sana's fault, but it didn't make Nelli feel any better. Eventually Nelli stopped talking about herself altogether. That changed when she met Raku. It wasn't some dramatic encounter. They were standing in the line of the library, both waiting to check out a couple of books. Raku noticed the keychain hang from her backpack, a small white and blue pixel art spaceship from Space Blasters. When they reached the front of the line and Nelli handed the librarian her books, they were excitedly chatting about their favourite retro game. She promised to lend Raku one of the cartridges and they exchanged contact. Okay, so she met him when she clearly is, older. Not a kid. She's definitely older. Nelli didn't talk about herself at first. They talked, of course, but it was usually about their shared hobbies. They liked different gens and played in different ways. Raku fancies punishing difficulties and expansive explorations, while Nelli preferred methodical leveling her characters with optimizing strategies. Okay, not me. Still, they had plenty in common. When the conversations veered too personal, Nelli drove it back into the safety of benign small talk. Yet Raku had a way of methodically tearing down her carefully constructed barriers, like, no! No, Alice, we talk. As he lounged on his bed, full and drowsy from eating too much cheap pizza, the words just started slipping out of her mouth one by one. It's like me. I talk more if I know someone, I feel more comfortable around them, and then I just never shut up. Literally. For Nelli and Raku were different. When she listened to her darkest thoughts, he didn't look at her with pity, skepticism, disgust, or apathy. He looked at her with understanding, as if he'd been with her every step of the way. Raku was special. That's exactly why they had to break up. Because, again, she's doing it to protect him. Because she's done something bad. Or she's done something that's going to get them maybe killed. She couldn't involve him in her life or her problems. She had to end it. Yeah, but end it in what way? Nelli wormed her hands between their bodies and pushed Raku away forcefully. Like, go away. Oh god. Okay, Be cruel? I don't want to. I'm gonna feel bad. I don't want to be mean.
You never want to love anyone but me. What sappy dramas have you been watching?
Oh god.
You're acting like a child. Wake up. This isn't some fantasy. People break up. It happens all the time.
Okay.
So that's it? It's over? Just like that?
Nelli's voice was relieved.
It's over.
She says.
It's over.
Yeah.
It's over. It's over.
Every time he repeated himself, his face darkened.
Even though I've loved you for years. Even though I loved you this much.
He lowered his head, dragging a hand through his hair as he turned away from her. He returned to the other side of the bus stop, leaning one hand heavily against the wall as raindrops dampened his worn-out orange sneakers. Nelli thought about responding. She considered spouting a few words of comfort, reassuring her ex-boyfriend with some cliche line, "It's not you, it's me. I'm not good enough for you." Let's see. She was his first serious girlfriend. He had told her as much. He had never experienced heartbreak. He was a child crying over his scraped knee, acting like his leg had been amputated with anesthetic. First of all, if he is the spider that lost his leg, shame on you, Nelli. That would be very terrible. She reconsidered and decided to stay silent. It was better if he believed that she was cruel and callous. After a few weeks of sad gaming session and angry rounds to his friends, he would probably forget about her altogether. At least she freaking hopes so, but he's kind of obsessed with her. Besides, she couldn't worry about him right now. She had bigger problems at hand. He straightened. When he stood in front of her again, there was something different about his expression, something colder, more resolute, as if he had made some sort of decision during the Morris period of in other words, a big bunch of words I can't pronounce properly.
I heard about you and Ji-hoon. I've seen you two around.
Prickles ran up Nelli's spine.
What about it? Are you going to start policing who I spend time with? I don't see how that's any business of yours.
Oh dear.
People have been talking, saying that you took advantage of your best friend's death to cozy up to her rich boyfriend.
Please. Not even Nelli would go to that level. He's filth, he's dirt.
They said that you two spent a lot of time together. That you went to his house on Friday.
I don't know what the day is, though. If, for example, if Friday was, like, last night, then it would make sense. But since I don't know what day of the week it is in this, I don't know why the date would matter. When was Friday? When did she go to his house on Friday? When was Friday?
Is that why you broke up with me? Because you wanted to get together with Ji-hoon?
No.
Do you love him?
No, I don't. Her in love with Ji-hoon? The very thought made Nelli want to vomit. She would rather date an insect. Do I correct him and say I don't, or do I say nothing? I don't know. Help, game, I don't know. Well, I'm supposed to be cruel, right? So I'm not supposed to give him an answer, right? But I've been saying nothing, staying silent this whole entire time, so I'll say nothing again. She didn't want to lie, but if she stayed quiet, then maybe Raku would come to his own conclusion and drop the matter. I feel so bad, I feel so bad.
What am I supposed to do? What can I say? I don't want to lose you.
His voice was soft and quiet, almost pitiful.
For me, a world with only you is enough, Nelli. I only need you. No matter who you are, or what you've done.
So he knows Nelly's done something. But at least he knows.
You don't need me. You don't even want me.
Oh, she does want you, but she doesn't need you right now. Nelly opened her mouth to respond, but no word came out. She simply stared at Riku's face, eyes widening. When she finally responded, she didn't say the words that she had intended to say. Oh, shit.
What are you?
Okay, so this is what happened last time, where she said, like, what are you? And I'm left here confused as fudge and biscuits. Riku reached him and touched his face, tracing his fingers over his eyebrow ridge, along his mouth and down his chin. What?
Oh no, I got a little worked up. Wait.
Nelly leaned back on her elbows and booted Raku squarely in the chest. He coughed up air as he was not from his lungs, as the air was not from his lungs, landing hard on a puddle on the concrete. She broke off into a run down the road. She left her bike at the bus stop. She didn't care. The only thought in her head was run, run, run. The raindrops pelted her face painfully, but she didn't stop to put up her hood. Every time her energy started to wane and her pace slowed down, the image of Riku's face flashed into her eyelids and she ran faster. As she had sprinted for 20 minutes, she dared to glance behind her. He wasn't following. She exhaled and turned her gaze to the front. Raku was waiting in front of her. What? How did he get there? Wait, huh? He was behind her. He can teleport now? Excuse you? So why didn't he teleport inside the house? Is he teleporting or is he just that fast? Raku was waiting in front of her. He stood off to the side of the road, reclining against a tree trunk with his arms crossed, staring at her. Oh God, with the spectre of a smoke teasing his lip. Oh God, Nelly, run! Nelly grounded to a halt. Her eyes darted the forest on either side, then back the way she had come.
Nelly, wait. Let's talk.
Nelly took her bag off and pelted at Raku. It hammered him in the chest, knocking him slightly off balance as he held it. He looked at it curiously, giving her the opportunity to dash into the woods to the right. Talk about protecting her bag, she literally uses a freaking weapon to smack him. Couldn't you just open the bag then? My God. Why are you running off into the forest, woman? It was a lot more difficult to traverse the dense forest with its maze of trees and bushes, but Nelly doubted that her speed mattered. He managed to get in front of her after all. How had he managed that? He was more athletic than his appearance would suggest, but... She squeezed her eyes shut to dispel the unnecessary thoughts and reached forward to part the foliage so that she could pass. She winced as the brambles caught on her exposed skin. She couldn't keep running like this. She checked that Raku was nowhere to be seen before maneuvering to a large fallen tree trunk, covered in a blanket of moss and shelf mushrooms. She lay down next to it, flattening her stomach against the damp ground and making sure that the nearby ferns obscured her form. She pulled her hood up over her head and waited. Could he hear her? Could he smell her? What the hell, woman? Every once in a while, she heard a soft rustling, but it was too quiet and transient that she figured that it had to be the wind. She checked her phone. 2 hours had passed. She decided to wait a little longer. By the time her leggings were completely drenched and she was shivering uncontrollably, it had been hours since she had last heard a sound. Surely it was gone by now. She peeked over the top of the tree trunk, and there was no one in sight. She could only see an endless green vegetation peppered amongst the sea of trees, glimmering through the rays of sunlight peering through the treetops. She got up, letting her hood down and shaking the raindrops from her jacket. Why don't you a raincoat? It would take her hours to get back to town. It was probably a bad idea to go back to her apartment right away. She needs something to defend herself. Pepper spray? Bear spray, vinegar. She'd heard that peppermint was effective, but would it work against him? Her flashlight was in the bag that she used as an improvised projectile. She fished her phone from her pocket. She would need the light to make it back in the dark and couldn't risk draining the battery before nightfall. As Nelli turned off her light, she didn't pay attention to where she was putting her hands. What? What is it now? She looked at her right hand. She had leaned it against a nearby trunk to steady herself as she navigated a tangle of roots underfoot. However, when she tried to lift her hand, it didn't detach. Oh god, what's she stuck to? Her fingers were adhered to the bark by some kind of sticky substance. Is it web? Is he actually a spider? Is it a spider web? She put her phone in her pocket and tried to pry her right hand free with her left. When it didn't loosen, she placed her foot against the tree trunk and attempted to use it as leverage to force herself free. Stop moving! God damn it. Her foot slipped on the damn slimy bark and her leg fell out from under her. She landed hard on her elbow, barely avoiding slamming her chin against the ground. Ouch.
What?
It's webs! There's freaking translucent thread everywhere. It's a freaking spider web. Is she in his den? Did he make all these? Good lord. He's been busy. Her feet were bound together by some sticky, golden-tinged, transparent thread.
I believe it's webbing.
It's web. She flipped over on her back and reached over, tugging the bonds, but to no avail. They clung to her foot and fingers like glue, refusing to detach. As she looked around, she saw those yellow fibers were everywhere, blanketing over the ground, strewn between the treetops, and strewn over the bushes. The threads were thin and delicate, only visible when the sunlight glinted over the droplets that clung to them.
And there you are. I was waiting long enough for you to come out.
Oh, yeah, if he's a spider, what happened was when she tried to pull on the thread, when she tried to pull herself free from the web, she lured him where she was. The vibrations went through the web. Through the spider web. As Raku approached, the bush near something shook slightly, sending a drizzle of raindrops falling onto the... Okay, so it's talking about the leaves above, right? I don't know what this is. He appraised her with an inscrutable expression, and he sighed.
You're soaked. You'll catch a cold.
At least he's still caring.
Let's go home.
I'm not going anywhere with you.
Nelli, you really don't have a choice, sweetie. You're literally stuck. You can't get out by yourself. He's the only one that can get you out of that, so you might as well just suck it up for now, sweetie. You literally got only yourself to blame. Technically me, but you've only got yourself to blame. He thumbed one of the golden threads, strumming it like the string of a guitar.
At first I thought that Ji-hoon was the problem. All I had to do was get rid of him, and then you'd come back to me. But then I realized that I was wrong. He wasn't the problem. There are always going to be Ji-hoons in the world. Other distractions.
Oh, does he think Nelli is after someone else, so now he thinks he's got to get rid of everyone else just to be with her? Oh, poo. Oh god, this is when the yandere comes out.
How can I stop you from looking at them? How can I make you only look at me? The answer was surprisingly simple. I need to make a world where there aren't any distractions.
Oh, poo. He leaned closer, his voice eerily serene. Oh, shit. This is what happens when you hide stuff from him, woman. He gets the wrong conclusion.
A world for just the two of us.
And the cat. Don't forget the cat. You can't get jealous of the cat. Either you have Nelli and her cat, or you don't get anything. She has a pet cat. You are not getting rid of the cat. The cat is staying. Also, you took care of the cat. Why are you not including the cat? Don't tell me you're going to hurt the cat. You hurt the cat and I'll be very upset with you, Raku. Do not do anything to the cat. If I make a world where you only have me, then sure you'll want me, right? Okay, so this confirms that Raku was the one talking at the end of the other one, where he said he was going to save her from the police. Oh my god, did Nelli actually kill someone? Am I actually onto it? Did Nelli kill someone? Wait, this confirms he is a spider? Is he a spider? in this ending, he literally went after Nelli because he tried to explain to her when, I guess, his disguise dropped. So Nelli's been dating a spider? Possibly a spider this whole entire time? Is that what I'm getting? End. Yeah, I know. Try me nice to Raku. Yeah, I know. That's not it. Thank you so much, Chattercap. I just got another ending. Okay. So my thoughts on that one. That was interesting. So I actually thought I, like, really messed up and I got, like, the same ending because of how it was. But no. After Nelli kicks him, this time, he didn't do what he did last time, which is wait for Nelli to go home. He actually appeared in front of me. So, I'm not entirely sure how he did that, unless he's using the webs to traverse, because, let's just admit, spiders are a lot more faster than you think they are. 1 second, they're there on the wall, the next minute, they're gone, and you're just like, where are they? Where did they go? But, yeah, so this technically, now, even more confirms my theory that he is probably a spider. But more specifically, he is the little spider that popped up at the end of the first ending that I got. And that he probably, most likely, is the little spider that she helped. Well, he did say it wasn't, like, a little spider, so it might have been, like, a tarantula size, maybe? Because she held it in her hand, so she held him in his hand, but he wasn't small. That means he was pretty big. So, she helped him at some point, I'm assuming when she was younger, and he remembered her kindness, and so he's been looking out for her all this time, and he fell in love with her. Again, just a theory, what I think is going on here. And in this particular ending, he is getting upset because obviously he's very possessive over her, and she broke up to him and has not given a proper example of what's wrong. He didn't do anything wrong, so why is he losing her? And he can't cope with it. So in this one, he instead decides, I'm going to keep you here and then get rid of everything else around you until you only have me. That was not what I was hoping he was going to do, but I guess that's one way. We're taking literally a page out of Siren Songs' book. Great. I did not mean for that to happen. This does not explain what's in the bag. We still don't know what's in the bag. All we know is that Nelli threw it at him. And the flashlight was in the bag, so she put the flashlight inside the bag afterwards. When did she open the bag to do that? Also, suddenly she was wearing a jacket. Where did her raincoat go? Alright, okay, I have a few questions. This at least gives me an idea of what she probably saw with Raku, probably when Raku started getting upset. My guess is those lines under his eyes, maybe they were eyes, actually. So when he started to lose control because of how emotional he was getting, maybe they open and there are eyes in there, and it's not like he's tired. They're just a second pair of eyes, probably. Or maybe his, like, fangs showed? I'm guessing? Like, he looked more spider? Or his are they called pitapelts or something? Spiders have got, like, little things on the front of them. I don't know. I watched like Dark Den, Tarantula Cat and all them with their spiders and stuff, and their tarantulas. So I know a little bit about spiders and tarantulas, mostly tarantulas. So yeah, there's that. But the thread that we saw, that was, he webbed up the whole area. So he was planning on moving in with Nelli, but he never did. So that means they were going to an apartment then. But he was out there in the forest hunting or doing something. I'm assuming he was out there hunting. Or, you know, just doing spider things, I guess, during that time. Either that, or maybe he constantly keeps an eye on Nelli. Either way, we at least confirm, yes, he is a spider, I think. I don't know if that means he's a full arachnid or he is part spider. Don't really know, but that would explain the hatred towards insects. That would explain his self-hatred towards his own existence. That would explain the story about the three-legged spider, but then that raises the question of how did you lose your legs? What even? That is disturbing. I mean, I'm glad that they came back, but I'm guessing it's because spiders and tarantulas and stuff, they shed and it helps them regrow their limbs over time. But still, how did you lose them in the first place? What happened? We still haven't solved the mystery of what Nelli's hiding in the bag. We haven't solved the stuff involving Ji-hoon, or who killed Sana, or if Sana's death really was murder, or if it actually was an accident. We haven't solved that. This one was just pretty much showing what happens if you don't give him an answer and you let him think things. He's assuming that apparently you're going to leave him for another person, so he's like, okay, fine. You want to play hard? Fine, I'll play hard too. I'm going to get rid of anything that's in the way. Hopefully the cat is fine. Right, we got 2 more endings to go. I've got to try and hunt for them. So if you guys want another video, 5 likes on this video and I'll give you another ending. 10 likes and we will do all 4. Well, I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye! Thanks for watching!